blood is thicker than water, or so the saying goes. But in the Christian church, we say water is thicker than blood. Baptism has changed our lives and makes the bond between us and our Lord and Savior very strong. Talking about family, Vance and I came from a rather large extended family and grew up with family being very important to us, and it still is. But even more important than that is God's call on our lives to follow Jesus and follow the family of God wherever Christ leads us. This doesn't sit well with our moms, nor do they remember it. Whenever there is a possible vacancy in people South Dakota, one of them will let us know. And we can be sure that if they both know about it, they will both share the news with us. Regardless of whether it's something that I'm suited for or not, they think it would be lovely to have us in the same town. But the family that we are called to serve with is the church. Our family that we're doing and the friends that we choose sustain us in that ministry when the going gets tough. We are all part of God's family in a particular place at a particular time, and people come and go, and we trust that those who come will have the gifts that this community needs to do the mission together with us, and that the people that God calls to work with us will also be equipped by God. Well, as being a very ministry 7, I work not only with the manual of the congregation, but with other ministries of our local area. This morning, I want to share 3 stories with you of other local congregations, where I see the Holy Spirit at work in the lives of people, not unlike the way that I see God at work in our midst. I want to share with you the stories of the Holy Spirit possessing St. Mark's Open Peace, Children's Memorial, and Hillside Community in Springfield, Kansas. At St. Mark's Open Peace, Pastor Don Simon is the pastor. It's a new and emerging ministry made up of the best of 2 former congregations in the ILC urban core of Kansas City. Pastor Don, the pastor of Abiding Peace, north of the river, moved and bought a house not very far from 6th Avenue of the United States. And as she walked her dog through a period of weeks, she kept being drawn to the building of St. Mark's on the Street. She began to think that maybe God was up to something there, and maybe she needed to be part of it. She explored that conversation with close friends and listened, and even the people in the walls of St. Mark's, and her own personal leadership at Abiding Peace. Before we knew it, she was leading lunch and Bible studies and sharing meal fellowship with those people as volunteers, and that seed began to flourish. And now, that is a ministry growing from just 6 to 10 people in worship on Sunday morning to a regular attendance of 35, and on large days, even more than that. And their ministry is not just word and sacrament ministry, but mission that is sent to from that. To feed people with food at the bus stop, made possible by grants from the ELCA. To do congregation-based organizing around tapping the race and raising the wage. And to meet people where they're at. To hear with them how God is living and present in their lives. They're inviting us to come and see next Friday evening at their feast of St. Mark, looking for people who are interested in knowing them as partners in this mission, or just curious onlookers who want to pray for them and learn about this ministry. Children's Memorial is a congregation many of you are probably aware of that everyone thought should have closed a long time ago because it hasn't seemed to be a viable ministry. This year, there's been some conflict within the congregation, and the synod was asked to do something about it by the members of that congregation. So the plan was synod authorized ministry, meaning that there's no council leadership power, but that the power to shape the community is within the pastoral plan by the bishop. Pastor John Schreiber was sitting there and talking with people and listening quite a bit. Now this summer, there's a new their needs met. They come by to receive food, they come by to share food. One woman received a free whole chicken at her grocery store, and she took it home and baked it, ate half of it, and brought the remaining half to the church, hoping that in the end would be able to share it with somebody in need. In this setting, their building is dirty and cluttered because they can't afford a building management. There is no phone. There is no air conditioning. But still it's a place where people come to visit, where they find people willing to listen to their stories and to pray and talk together. Area Ministry 7 congregations like this 12-spot congregation with its feeding ministry on Saturday morning. And those people that you encountered on Saturday morning are the people who sat there throughout the week in need of conversation or just a place to rest. And then another site in our area ministry where the Holy Spirit has been moving is Spring Hill, Kansas, which seems very far away to me. But it's a place of increasing importance in our regional area. That area between Gardner and Olathe is going to be a booming railroad interchange. And people will come and work in this place. And now the ILC has a presence there that will be able to share the good news of Jesus Christ and welcome them into the work of the interchange. One story from this pleasure-winning ministry is of Pastor Janice using the candlelight Christmas Eve service candles for the Easter Vigil Sunday morning Easter service, and then not collecting the candles at the end of the time together, but giving them to those who came to worship, and asking them to share the good news of the light of the world shining in their lives with their friends and neighbors, to invite friends to come to church. This year, at the Synod Assembly, Hillside Community Church was received as an official congregation of the Central State Synod after having been at its start for only 1 year. Across our Synod, there are other places of hope. St. James in Garden City, an emerging dream of Latino strategy here in Kansas City with its pavilion, and then the commitment we've made as a Synod to fund campus ministry. St. James in Garden City left the ELCA in 2001 by congregational vote. And this year, a different pastor came to the bishop and said, "How do we start the process of reconciliation? We want to be part of the ELCA again." The great thing about this partnership is that there's also a Spanish-speaking congregation that meets in the building. Church of Rose Garcia. And now we're recognizing them as an authorized worshiping community of the Synod. Wherever people are reconciled, there is God in the midst of them. And then that image of shared mission with Episcopalians in Kansas City. Rather than Episcopalians having a Spanish site in Kansas City, Kansas, or Lutherans having one in Kansas City, Missouri, we're talking about creating and calling people to work in this strategy together, side by side, common mission. And then campus ministry. Synod budgets are declining across the church. This year, the cut that was made was campus ministry across our Synod. of God. They couldn't imagine that a person acting alone could possibly be doing the things he was doing. Of course, as scholars of the Gospel of Mark, we know that this is possible in Jesus' life and ministry. We've read about him casting out demons and healing people. We know this because he's the Son of God. Just prior to this conversation with the people who are trusting him, Jesus has healed the hand of a man on the Sabbath. The critics were watching. They couldn't wait for him to break the law about the Sabbath. But Jesus didn't. He didn't touch the man. What healed the man's withered hand was his own faith. Jesus invited him to reach out his hand. He reached out a withered, gnarled hand clenched in a fist. And as he reached out his arm, that hand uncurled and became whole. When we come searching for God's healing in our lives, God invites us to reach out our hands, to unclench them, maybe even to grab the hands of a neighbor. We'll see more of Jesus' healing stories throughout the summer, the way that God's power through the Holy Spirit is active in Jesus, transforming lives and bringing people together in community. Blood is thicker than water. Water is thicker than blood. And just think about this. We gather around the table. We will be ingesting Jesus' blood and body for our salvation. This act connects us to this same power of God. Jesus pours out his life for his followers and tells us to pour out our lives for the sake of others. The Holy Spirit possesses you, and you possess the power of God. I invite you this week as you go about your daily routine to meet others where they are, to really listen, to find ways to work together to let your light shine in the world. Remembering that water is thicker than blood, and that Jesus' blood is thicker than water. You are a child of God, possessed with and by the Holy Spirit, in order to be a blessing to others.